Dining out here can be a memorable experience at El Pitosforo. It's located right here on the little piazza. The view, the bouillabaisse, and the bill are all guaranteed to be outstanding. Another ravishing restaurant, but one that's a little bit less expensive, is Da Puni. Also on the piazza, it's got delicious pasta and seafood dishes for starters and well-prepared fish like sea bass baked in salt. You can just sit back and read the newspaper and have a drink if you wish. The waiters here are not in any hurry to pressure you to order a meal. It's very relaxed and casual harborside in Portofino. Each one of the restaurants serves wonderful food. They wouldn't be here if they didn't. And usually the owners and the waiters live right in town as well too, so they have a stake in doing a very good job for you. And as long as you're in Portofino, you might as well sit down and have lunch and some wine and enjoy the view. Not only was the view as good as it gets from that table and the food extremely delicious, but somehow we were in the right mood at the right time at the right place. And so this meal turned out to be the best meal of our entire Italy tour. 2 weeks in Italy, nothing but good food, great meals every place. But on an afternoon like this, after enjoying the quiet little village all to ourselves, walking the paths, and being treated to such splendid service and delicious foods, that was the best. And you can find it too. Portofino in the spring or the fall. There's a lot of shops, there's fancy little boutiques, and surprisingly good values in these stores. You'd think, oh, this will just be a very expensive tourist ripoff. Well, it's not cheap, but the quality is there, and we ended up spending more than we expected. There's several bars. The famous American bar is here. Don't be thrown off by the name. It's one of the great wateries, Margherita American Bar and Scafandro American Bar. They both compete cheek by jowl to get your business, and they'll serve up quite a dish. It almost looks like a Waikiki bartender threw this together for us, but it was delicious, a Pim's Cup Italian style. Here's the boat that takes you back to the town of Santa Margherita if you wish to go by boat, or you can go by bus. And now it's almost time to leave. Well, we're just finishing up our day in Portofino. We've been here all day. Got here first thing in the morning, about 8:30, and there's enough to keep you occupied in this tiny little village. There's different walks you can take. There's the different cafes. There's enough shops with some really high-quality merchandise, and a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting characters. There's dogs and cats roaming around, and every view, every turn, every corner, there's something interesting to have a look at. So now the sun is going down, and we're having a few drinks here to celebrate the day and think about how to cap off the evening. Dinner, perhaps at one of the restaurants around this little harbor, or a short bus ride back into Santa Margherita. Now, when you come to the Ligurian coast of Italy, here in the northwest of Italy, you certainly want to visit Portofino. As you've seen from our pictures here today, it's really a great spot. And for hotel selections, there's not much in Portofino. So Santa Margherita, it's only 4 miles away, has a lot of hotels at a reasonable price, and there's a public bus that runs every 20 minutes. Just takes about 10-15 minutes to go by bus from Santa Margherita to Portofino, and it's really worth it. Portofino is very close to Santa Margherita. It's just about 4 miles away. And so our hotel is in Santa Margherita. We're staying at the Lido Palace. And you can ride the public bus. It takes about 10 minutes to get from Santa Margherita into Portofino. That cute little sound is the bus horn going off and saying, "Excuse me," as it goes around each little blind curve here on this narrow, twisting road. The road to Santa Margherita. And you get a look at some of these funny little vehicles they drive in Italy, a little three-wheeled mini truck, and always the motor scooters, the Vespas you'll see everywhere, and the small cars. Along the way, we're enjoying scenes that look like they could be right out of the west coast of California, except they're more beautiful. After all, here we are in Italy. There's just one little village along the way between Portofino and Paraggi, and there you see the castle on the point of the village. and the little beach. This is the only sandy beach on a 10-mile stretch of coastline here. Most of the coast is rocky cliffs or little boulder beaches. But here in the little village of Paraji, there's an actual sandy beach. This village is mostly hidden from the road by its dense undergrowth and luxuriant vegetation. It consists of a castle built on a rock on the high grounds and a few fishermen's cottages covered with plants and creepers which give the sea a dark green appearance. And there's a few tiny little hotels and small restaurants to cater to the tourist crowd. The castle was built in 1625 by the Republic of Genoa. And now we're arriving in the town of Santa Margherita Ligure. We started our day here in Santa Margherita, and it seems like a long time ago because we've had a full day experience in Portofino, but now we're coming back to town because this is where our hotel is located. And in itself, this is a charming coastal resort town as well. It's much bigger than Portofino, obviously, and the harbor is loaded with sailboats and sleek racing boats and fishermen's boats. It's a very popular spot. It has some very high-quality hotels and numerous restaurants to pick from. And there's shops, there's arcades, and there's an oceanfront promenade here. The hotel we're staying at is the Lido Palace, which is a very nice place located right on the waterfront. There are several ultra-deluxe hotels in town. There's the Imperial Palace and the Grand Hotel Miramare, quite expensive, surrounded by lovely gardens, set back like palaces. We found the Lido Palace to be very serviceable, very friendly people there. And there are some more budget choices. You could stay at the Mediterraneo Hotel. You could stay at La Vela or Conte Verde. But here we are pulling up to our hotel, the Lido Palace, and it's conveniently located right at the little bus terminal as well. So you can catch buses here to go off to Rapallo or, of course, back to Portofino. Santa Margherita is very convenient for travelers because the train comes through here. The International Express train service stops right in Santa Margherita, and it's only about a 5-minute drive from the station to your hotel. And this is the view we enjoyed from the rooms of our Lido Palace Hotel. Balconies overlooking the little town square and a little park with a statue in memory of Christopher Columbus. After all, Columbus was from this area, from Genoa, just about 20 miles up the coastline. The interior of our room at the Lido Palace, all the rooms are suites in this hotel. So you have a living room and a separate bedroom. And if you're staying there for more than 5 days, you can have a kitchenette with your room at no additional charge. They serve breakfast down in the American Bar breakfast room, and they also have a deluxe restaurant as part of the hotel. Real friendly spot to stay. There's also the Hotel Lauren, which is equally beautiful. It's right on the waterfront. There's a little fishing pier. Here's the park with the statue of Columbus in the middle of it. And there's nice park benches. You can sit down or sit down at a sidewalk cafe. Maybe a street artist will come along and display some of his paintings. Or you might have a performance of various street musicians in this town as well, too. Particularly in the summer, it's a very lively place bustling with tourists. The program you're watching was filmed during late March and early April of this year. A group of 10 of us from Hawaii got together and traveled for 2 weeks through Italy. And here we are sitting at a wonderful sidewalk restaurant enjoying a dinner of spaghetti and some fresh seafoods, pastas, salads, waters and wines, coffee, desserts. It's a great little place here. You can't go wrong with your meals in Italy.
Salmon.
Some calamari. A lot of seafood here, naturally, since it is a waterfront harbor town. A lot of fishermen bring their fresh catch in every morning and keep the restaurants very well supplied. This food tasted just as good as it looks. This is part of our Italy tour. We began in Rome. We spent 3 nights in Rome, and we went up to Venice, spent a couple days in Venice, on to the Lake District, and now we've come down to the Italian Riviera, Santa Margherita. Next, we'll be moving along to Florence, but in the next program, you're going to see more of Portofino. It's such an exquisitely charming little town, we just had to go back again the next day for more. Hotel Lauren is another good spot right on the waterfront here. And then after Portofino, we'll be moving along down to Pisa and Florence and Siena and more of Rome. So stay tuned here as our series continues. But for now, we're enjoying the sights of Santa Margherita. There's Columbus again, pointing out to sea, pointing to the New World, a native son of this region. This area has quite a history. It started out as two small separate villages, and then in 1812 they were joined together by Napoleon, who named them after himself, Porto Napoleone. However, 3 years later with the Treaty of Vienna, all of that was undone, and the city was transferred to the Kingdom of Piedmont in Sardinia. Remember, the country of Italy didn't even exist until about 100 years ago. The peninsula consisted of separate kingdoms and city-states. And you do get a real feeling for history here in Santa Margherita, as quite a few of the buildings are 300 and 400 years old. There's an outstanding Baroque church, and there's some ancient medieval-style cloisters and arcaded sidewalks and beautiful palm-lined waterfront area. Once you get away from the waterfront, you get into these medieval-style back alleyways. It's quite charming.